sometimes I feel like I'm not gonna do it, but sometimes I feel like titling these leg day videos something that's not legs, like saying this is like a chest day or something, just as a little fucking a little gotcha. But no, if you're here, you're at least a little bit interested in some quad, hamstring, potentially a touch of calf, and maybe a little adductor action for today, which may or may not be included because my adductors are still fucking cooked from the last leg day. I was really camping out on the adductor machine. I'm talking well, the full sack is manageable. Like it wasn't crazy weight, but I was really getting a good stretch on them. And like they're even just sitting out squeezing my legs together, they're still sore. So in the process of waiting for the caffeine to kind of kick into me when we drive over to the gym. I haven't done legs at this gym for a little while because the leg extension was literally breaking at the frame. Like some of the welds had, I mean, just fucking separated completely. So, not to the point where if somebody were to try to do like the full stack for any, or not, maybe not even the full stack, but any just moderate, serious amount of weight, it would probably just fucking snap the whole thing off and hurt somebody. So, I've been going to, well, I guess the same gym that I've been doing all the leg days in for the last few. But now we get to go back to the home court, the OG home gym for legs. And today may be a little bit more chill in the weight department because I can still kind of tell I'm feeling some residual damage from that last really heavy leg day with the two solid Smith squats followed by, or no, there was no Smith squats. It was all leg press. Yeah, now I remember. But either way, quads will be pumped up to completion, but potentially from less intensive loading. So, gonna start off with leg extension like normal, and then just play it by ear. Maybe I'll do some higher rep, lower weight sets of squats, Smith machine or barbell, to be determined. It's been a while since I've done like a 315 AMRAP set, but we'll just have to see how I'm feeling after hamstrings. Which, yeah, hamstrings is gonna look the same as normal. Hamstrings is gonna look pretty much identical to normal, except for one change. This gym has a set of cables where the arms are fucking individually adjustable, so I can put the two arms on the lowest and closest setting, add a like a squat box to the middle, and I can do RDLs with a cable instead of the Smith machine like I've been doing. And why that's important to me is cable RDLs are fucking awesome. It's because when you do a barbell, and even when you do even when you do dumbbell RDLs to an extent, you kind of have to be careful of where the weight is being loaded because if you have a barbell, the weight can't get any closer to you than where your shins are, right? So you have to always have it a little bit in front of you. Oh, sorry for the 10th yawn of the drive so far. But with the barbell and even with dumbbells a little bit, you have to make sure that the weight isn't like running into your legs as you're doing it. Whereas when you have two cables that are at both of your sides, you can have your hands literally basically intersect where your knees would be. And for me at least, that lets me squeeze extra hard. So it's not going to be so heavy as like the 3-plate Smith machine RDLs that I've been doing. But the amount of isolation that I'll be able to get from this is, I mean, not twice as good, but better that I'm particularly excited about it. I've been to a couple gyms where they actually have like a dedicated RDL machine, and I really like it, but I never see it nowadays. I guess it's a little bit too specialized to be mainstream, but it's kind of like this adjustable platform for your feet, and then same setup with the two cables on the side. But I think that's pretty much it. We'll get into the real meat and potatoes of the talking part after legs. I'm kind of I'm kind of just focused on the training part right now. I can't think of anything crazy cool. But let's fast forward to the first set of hamstrings, which I am like 97% sure is going to be laying hamstring curls. But there's still that 3%, who knows? So let's find out. I've been starting a lot of my hamstring days with a nice light squeezing set. Let's change things up. I've warmed up adequately. Let's smack the stack around for, hard to say, but as many reps as possible, including partials with lower and lower range of motion until I really can't get much of any kind of meaningful movement. That's kind of my cue that I burn my hamstring out in a good way as much as I can. And one thing that I kind of want to sort of clarify, and I say this a lot, but training to failure is not easy. Like reaching a point of legitimate, complete muscular exertion, it's not even fucking possible. Because if I were to finish this set and wherever I say failure is, I stop. If somebody were to connect fucking electrodes to my hamstrings, Frankenstein style, I'm sure they could get another like 4 or 5 reps out. So it's not, don't think training to failure is so easy that you think as soon as the reps get kind of hard, you're like, okay, that's enough. Like, seriously try to dig deep. And if you want gains, you shouldn't even need to tell you that. You should kind of just know it, right? It's a basic principle of training, I think. The harder you go, the better you'll do. It can't be overcomplicated than that. Few more, just like that. Oh my God. One more. I'll probably have to drop the weight after the next one. Oh my God. Okay. Same style. But I gotta drop it down a peg. 170 instead of 190. And I think today this might be all I do. I might add like a little variation at the end. But I know for a fact my hamstrings are well on track to being fully pumped. And in a more actual kind of meaningful kind of way, they're fucking wrecked. Don't underestimate the power of just doing one movement if it really feels good. You know, for whatever reason, this was like bothering my knees, or I didn't really feel it that good or whatever, then I'd want to move on to something else. But if this feels awesome, and hamstrings are relatively simple enough where I do think this is a good lift, and I did some RDL focused hamstring lifts last leg day, I'm fine with spamming these for a few more and then moving on to quads. A-okay with Mr. Sam, goddammit. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, okay. I gotta move on to some light stuff now. I think I'm pretty much exhausted my hamstrings in terms of their fucking power. But I know I can do at least a little bit more squeezing work and get them just a bit more pumped. Oh. This very well may be the finisher. I'm thinking 5 reps on one side, 5 on the other, 5 on one, 5 on the other. Squeeze hard, slow controlled reps. And then once we get to a point where the hams are totally cooked, I think there's a high probability this will be it, and then move on to leg extensions. But if I feel like I can handle a little bit more, that's what I'll do. Okay. Holy crap. All right. That's enough. Oh. One added bonus to doing light squeezing reps like that is if you've ever gone really heavy on these RDLs, or what am I saying, all these hamstring curls, you have to fucking basically brace. I mean, I wrap my arms around the handles and give it like a vice grip to hold my torso down. Because if I didn't hold myself down with that much weight, I would just do a fucking like, what's the movement called? It's like a really fancy power lifter kind of thing. Oh, whatever. Oh, I do like a Nordic curl. So when the weight's this light, I don't have to focus on holding myself down. I can just focus on hamstring activation. But that's enough of that, I think. Hamstrings are cooked. Let's do some leg lifts. Leg extensions. That's what I meant. Your eyes do not deceive you. This leg extension has gotten an upgrade. Nice and fancy. And the best part about it, whether or not you've ever run into this issue, the old one had kind of just been worn and used so much that the leg extension pad itself, instead of being perfectly parallel, was at like an angle. So it always kind of fuck with you if you were trying to do double leg movements or double leg sets, because like your left leg would be fully extended, but your right one wouldn't. So it would like kind of bias one leg instead of the other, and you had to kind of sit a little bit crooked. Not awesome. But what I was going to say was, I do not feel like my quads need to be destroyed today. I can still kind of feel some residual fatigue from the last heavy leg day. So I think I'm going to make this more of some pump work. Nothing crazy. No maxed out leg press. I think probably some light squeezing leg extensions, burning kind of focus sets, back and forth a couple times to start. Add some sissy squat drop sets, maybe some other fanciness down the line, but nothing too crazy. So today ended up being heavy hamstrings, lighter squeezing quads. But I'm still warming up. I just wanted to give that little preamble. So let's cut to set number 1. 100 pounds on a stack. 5 reps on the left, 5 on the right. Slow squeeze. That's kind of it's kind of been a leg extension style I like a lot. Well, let's get through some of these. All right. That kind of served as both easing into set and a little bit of work in set. I mean, that wasn't nothing. A little heavier, and this set will be a bit nastier than number one. Okay. Okay. A few more, just like that. I'm kind of accruing damage slowly over every set. Since I'm not trying to make every set necessarily my peak potential intensity. But I think a little bit more here. Quads are going to be pumped reasonably soon and go pose down and get home. Hey. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Few more. Few more. All right, so I'm gonna clarify it again. This quad portion, I'm not training to complete failure. What I'm aiming for is really just a reasonable quad pump. Kind of going for blood flow, because I can tell I'm still feeling some, I mean, I guess there's no other word to say it than damage from the last crazy leg day, to the point where I think having a lighter quad day in between will still be good for me. You know, get some blood flow, get some activation, get some nutrient partitioning and pumping up. Who doesn't love that? But without so much of the crazy damage. Because, so if you want to see an actual crazy quad lift, you got to go back to the last leg day. But I think let's transition to some superset stuff. So, same weight that I was doing single leg, slow double leg extensions. I'm going to hold it for like a full second. Down really slow, really squeeze. And then once I've reached a satisfactory amount of fatigue here, I'm gonna jump my butt up, grab onto these two machines for support, and do some sissy squats with a little bit of self-assistance. because I can kind of pull on the machines for a bit of support. And this combination always just fucking inflates my quads because it's really combining the best of both worlds. An insane squeeze on the leg extension, which is its primary fucking benefit, I think. I mean, anytime you do a heavy press, like a squat or a machine press or anything else, all the tension is maximized at the bottom, like when you're in the hole. Your quads are not on fire when you're standing up with a barbell squat, right? They're really burning on the way down on the bottom. At the top, you don't get that much squeeze. So that's where I love the leg extension, because you can really squeeze and put some effort in this portion of the rep. But it's not so crazy in the stretch department like sissy squats are. So combining the two, sort of playing off each one's strength, I like it a lot. So let's do a couple of these, and I think by then we'll be fully pumped and ready to get out of here. This song sucks. Okay, that's good. Holy crap. All right. A few more just like that. Oh my God. Holy crap. Okay. One more. Okay. Holy fuck. Okay. All right. That's enough. So hamstrings seriously seriously obliterated, and quads are pumped up to hell. But they definitely haven't taken so much damage from today's lift, which I'm totally fine with. I need them to get a little more recovery before I start loading them with, hundreds upon hundreds of pounds next leg day. Which, what that tells me is I definitely did a good job on my last quad day in terms of seriously wrecking them, to the point where it took me not even 3 days was enough to really recover them completely. But if you're feeling just a little bit sore, I'm not talking like, if my whole body was fucking aching, yeah, I probably would have made today a rest day. But if you're just feeling a little sore, dude, maybe just do a lighter kind of squeeze focus day. You know, as much as I like heavy stuff, which do not get me wrong, you know I do. I don't even have to say that. Slight squeezing kind of pumpish work, that's solid too, man. That's on the opposite spectrum of the fucking gains equation. Usually I like an even mix. Like the last leg day was a combination of light squeezing leg extensions with insanely heavy fucking leg press and squats. But if something gets in the way of that crazy heavy set, don't just say, oh, we're going to skip whatever that muscle is today. Right, just do get a little bit of lighter stuff going. Get a good pump, you know, get some blood flow, some activation. Go home, make sure you optimize your recovery and come back fucking stronger. But yeah, quad's reasonably pumped. Not so veiny as peak dieting phase, but that is to be expected, of course. Let me try to back up a touch and really spread this hamstring out. Oh. So that's what I'm aiming for, this kind of sweep. And having a hamstring pump, honestly, does not really add to the allure. Like standing, they're definitely bigger. Like there's actually almost like a little bit of a curvature to the back of my leg, which I'm aiming for. But when it comes to like a side chest or something where you want to smush it up against your opposite leg, when they're pumped up, it doesn't necessarily help that much. That's where having them unpumped is actually a little bit more impressive, I think. But let's get one more obligatory lat spread and then we can scram. Oh. All right, let's pull my pants back on, get in the car, and go eat something. All right, I've got some thoughts. I've got some fucking thoughts to expel to you. So I was just talking to some relatively youngins at the end of that lift, you know, and one of the guys is like, you know, I'm getting into it, but you know, what should I do to really kind of start locking it into bodybuilding? You know, what should I be doing? And I'm like, well, if you're in the gym and you're working out, that's a pretty massive portion of it already. So just by working out on a consistent basis, I'm talking however many days per week. I mean, like, I'm not saying this rhetorically. What do you think that percentage is? 70% of it? 50% of it? You know, a big chunk, definitely more than half. Because of course, if you don't go to the gym, you'll never make any gains. So it's a pretty important part. I'd say crucial, even. And after that, you know, after somebody has started to, and I'm not even talking like working out perfectly or like making spreadsheets about their lifts and like tracking everything absolutely perfectly and whatever. Just by going to the gym on a consistent basis and doing kind of just, you know, basic kind of chest day, arm days, nothing too crazy. Like, you know, you're starting to become a regular lifter. That's the first part. I'd say that's stage one. And then after you've established you like it, okay, I like this. I like doing this. I put apart an hour and a half or so a day to come to the gym and do this. I like it a lot. I'm making newbie gains, which is honestly probably the best part about lifting, the fact that gains are the easiest to make in the beginning. So it's not like the gym is even gatekeeping you, because it's literally, you know, taking it easy on the beginner, which is pretty lucky for us. But after you've kind of reached that point where you know you like it, you have a grasp of what you're doing, then you got to lock it into your diet. You know, then you got to start to realize, like, okay, if I don't eat enough food, I'm probably not going to be extra recovered from my lift. And then if I don't eat enough food, I'm definitely not going to grow, which for the beginner lifter is the primary goal, right? Muscle growth. Unless you're, I mean, I'm talking for the lifter, not like the calisthenics athlete or anything. If you're lifting because you want to build some muscle, build some strength, everything else, that's what I'm taking as like the goal. So eventually you start to, I'd say stage 1.5 is you start tracking your protein every day, making sure you hit your 170, 150, how many grams you need for how many pounds you weigh. I think a 1-to-1 ratio is pretty solid. Then you start locking it in, you know, like, oh crap, I better start eating some more carbs. Maybe maybe I'll have 2 sandwiches instead of 1 and double the bread, you know, or just random shit like that. And then you've got, I'd say 75% of it right there, if you can kind of understand how to hit your calories every day, as well as, you know, locking in your training, assuming you're actually training hard. And then things will just come, things will fall into place. The longer you work out, the better you get at it. It's kind of like I say this a lot, you're like a heat-seeking missile, right? If a heat-seeking missile is ever off axis from its target, then it's going to readjust itself towards where it's aiming, right? So that's going to be you. If you realize, like, okay, I'm not really getting the best arm pumps on my arm days, what should I change about that? What can I change about that to make them better? And the longer you work out, and the more people you talk to who work out as well, those answers will kind of just be revealed through fucking, your phone. Because if you work out, eventually, your Google is going to know that you're a lifter, and it's going to tell you, hey, this guy works out. We got to show him a million fucking workout videos per day. Kind of the standard optimization of advertisement style, algorithm every social media platform has. And you'll kind of just get a better grasp of it over time. So once somebody's working out on a consistent basis and they start kind of getting into macro tracking, I'd say you're done. In the sense of you're on track to continue to make gains. But that's not the whole part of the story. And what I really wanted to say here is you kind of have to have a split personality in a sense when it comes to working out. Because your body specifically, as you get bigger, is going to change, and you're going to have to approach your training in slightly different ways, and you're eating in different ways. Because if you gain 20 pounds of muscle over the course of however many years, whatever, you're now going to have to eat to accommodate that. Not even because you're working out and lifting heavier weights, just having more muscle on your body makes you need more calories to even just stay the same size. Because there's like a whole oxygen demand and just energy to keep that muscle alive, right? That's why a fucking whale is going to eat a million calories more than I do. It's just so much bigger. It's got to facilitate its own life. But what I'm trying to say is you have to have kind of a split personality in a sense. Because for one thing, you have to be hard-headed enough to stick to your routine and hit it pretty much without obstacle. Now, of course, if I were to if I get crazy sick, I'm going to take a rest day. If scheduling issues occur, then I'm going to have to skip a day or whatever else. I mean, not awesome, but stay on track. You have to be hard-headed enough to hit your lifts, hit your calories, right? Do everything you got to do on repeat, day in, day out. But on the opposite side of that spectrum, you have to be, impressionable is not the right word. You have to be malleable in your approach mentally to what you're doing, to be able to be open to new advice and new information that you come across, because nobody's training routine is perfect. And I think I'm just from looking back at my own lifting over the course of the last few years that I've been doing it, I mean, it really fucking epitomizes it. I remember doing way too much volume, and then I've done all sorts of weird training and different training splits, and I've done periods of time where I was doing like 2 a-days. Yeah, but the fact that I still trained, I mean, it doesn't have to be every day. You can have a rest day. But the fact that I was still training, no off weeks, no skipping, tracking all the calories, everything else, the basic core components of my workout routine were on point. Training every day, training hard, eating the right amount of food for whatever my goals are. That's 90% of it. And then, if you want to continue to make gains and continue to make progress, because the shit gets harder as the further you get into it, then that's where having that fucking open mind to change is a little bit more important, because you have to be able to say, like, oh crap, maybe I am doing too much fluff volume. Maybe I should trim down the sets and actually up the intensity. And part of that also is going to have to come with a certain amount of humbleness to be able to say, like, oh crap, I've been training wrong. I've been doing my training a bit wrong for a while. I need to change this. I need to make some adjustments here to actually continue to make legit progress, which I feel like a lot of people want to come off that way when they give when they give lifting advice. It's very easy for me to say a lot of the advice that I like to give, because it's really the bones of working out, the primary columns. Right? Train hard, train consistently, eat your calories, get good rest, and stay hydrated. Those are the 5 tenets of Sam, and those work. And I try to fucking stress them, And there's all sorts of aspects of the life of lifters, where if any of that is out of whack, then the results will show it. But what I don't love is like, and you see this all the time, and it's just half of it is just the nature of how social media works. Because if you like, let's say you're posting TikToks and stuff, and you're a fitness character, that's what you're going for, that's your niche, then it's very easy to get social media engagement when like you pick a comment and you make a video responding to it, and you're like, this guy's a fucking moron, I would never want to train like this, let me tell you how to actually do it. Like it really sucks how a lot of, I mean, pretty experienced guys, like these dudes look good, they're big, they might not be like Olympia caliber dudes, but you have to be at least reasonably knowledgeable to get, you know, at least kind of impressive looking. It does take some dedication, so odds are a lot of these guys know what they're talking about, but I just don't love how like mean and condescending they make these videos. Because even if they have the right message, the way that they're saying it is just so fucking dickish. Like, let's say I saw a comment that was like, Sam, I've been doing 30 set chest days. I love it. I get a crazy pump. What do you think? I would probably disagree with that. I'd probably say, well, I'd want to see the workout maybe and see what the intensity is like. Because 30 sets, I mean, for me at least, by the time I've done 7 or 8 hard sets of chest, that's kind of where I want to tap out. I feel like I've done enough. I'm fully pumped. I'm ready to pose down, go home and eat. That's my fucking perspective, and I think it's reasonably fucking accurate. So if somebody said that, I'd say that's probably a bit of volume. How is the intensity? Right? But on the opposite side of the spectrum, I could say, you're a fucking moron. Why would you do that much volume? So even if the idea is right that these guys are talking about, the way that they say it just sucks. So that's now I'm just getting on like a social media rant, but that always kind of upsets me, And it makes it's kind of gatekeeping in a way, because if you're talking to guys who are inexperienced and they don't necessarily know exactly what they're doing, what what are you even talking about if you're saying like you have no idea what you're talking about? It's a beginner lifter, man. Why why are you even highlighting that? Try to make your point without being a total schmo. So I'm sure if you know somebody, I'm sure me saying this is making you think of somebody that you've seen on like Instagram reels or whatever else. So let's no more social media rant. In terms of food, what's the plan for me when I go home today? I think 2 packs of instant rice. I think it's like I couldn't find the cheddar broccoli last time I went grocery shopping. I had to get um I think it's like chicken stock flavor or something, like something chicken, whatever. But 120 grams of carbs. I think 20 grams of fat ish from those 2 packs together. And then I'll finish off the last half pound of ground beef I've got sitting in the fridge. And while I'm getting that ready, I'm gonna throw about 3 pounds of little not fingerling, but they're like what are just like the small little yellow potatoes, like the red and yellow ones. Either way, I buy like 5 or like 3 pound packs of those. And if you're curious about the recipe, I'm talking however many grams of olive oil. I'll weigh it out. I'm not totally sure exactly. Salt, pepper, paprika, onion powder, I think. Or no, is it garlic powder? I don't remember. Whichever one's in the cupboard. And then set that on a Pyrex. 45 minutes at I think 375. Yeah, 45 minutes at 375 comes out fucking perfect. So that'll be the carb source of the next meal. And that's one thing I'm trying to start doing now is, I mean, not that I've never done it before, but I'm really trying to cook in bulk in a sense. So, now when I make my ground beef, I just cook like 3 pounds of it and put it into a little container so I can just scoop it out throughout the day, because I'm just wasting time and I'm just wasting energy cooking a half pound at once. I mean, that's just fucking foolish. So, not exactly like completely meal prepped, but one step away. So it ends up being, just scooping up as many potatoes and proteins as I care for, and then I'll probably slam a liter of electrolyte water to top it off. So And this will be my last little thing here, but I haven't been getting this question a lot in the comments. I've just been getting this question a lot in person. How much water am I drinking a day? Should I drink a gallon of water a day? That wouldn't be a bad idea. That would not be a bad move. A gallon a day is definitely not a bad move. Because I don't, as long, I mean, there'd be no need to drink 10 gallons of water a day. But within reason, I don't think you can really drink too much. You can definitely drink too little. You can definitely drink too little water, and that's going to show in terms of fucking negative effects. Odds are you're going to have, just at baseline, kind of a nasty sort of headache. And then if you don't have enough fluids floating around, your lift is going to suffer in two ways. You're definitely not going to be as strong. You're probably going to feel a bit more sluggish than normal, so your intensity is probably going to drop off because you're not really in the zone. But let's say even if you do push through that, your pump is going to suffer because your pump is not just a magic fucking inflation of your biceps or your quads or anything like that. It's just a partitioning of fluids in your fucking body towards that targeted muscle, kind of as a little bit of an immediate stress response to the damage that you're doing to it. So if you don't have enough fluids in your system, you're not going to be as pumped as you should be. And anything that will affect the pump, you know this, is not ideal. Far from it. Far from it. I'd say even counterintuitive. So, do you need a gallon? Maybe not specifically a gallon, but I think I end up getting about 5 liters or so. Like the drink I was drinking all that whole lift today was just 1 liter of like some aminos and stuff. So that's already empty. The pre-workout I drank before the workout was in the same liter bottle. And then this morning, before I did cardio, I had another one of those liters, so I'm already 3 deep. I feel pretty well hydrated, but I've still got like, nearly 9 hours left of the day, 8 hours left of the day. So that'll probably be another 2 or maybe even 3. So I'm right around I think I'm right around the gallon and a half mark. But of course, I am a bigger guy, so if you're, you know, do your calculations and see how much you would want to drink. Right. So if I'm at 257, 6 liters, well, that's on you. I know how much water I'm drinking, but yeah, I would don't feel like a nut. Don't feel like a gym rat for carrying around your cleaned out gallon milk jug. That is a very good way to have a constant reminder of your fucking water on you at all times. Or if you're really fancy, I guess you could get one of the massive fucking hydro flasks. But frankly, I don't love the aesthetic for me personally. But that's all. Legs pumped, hamstrings especially fatigued. Let's just go eat and get ready for chest tomorrow.